Hello everyone, this is my second transmission that I've made, and I'm a big fan of this one because it allows for more speed options, and on top of that, it's also smaller than the other one. I know this one might look bigger than the other one, but it also has a lot more gears, and I just think it's pretty nice and compact, and it's kind of a smart design. So basically the way that this works, hang on, let me reset this real quick. Now, essentially, what I like about this is that it uses just regular pistons because I just feel like you don't see those a lot. You either see sticky pistons or the mechanical pistons, and just using regular pistons is kind of, it's a dying art, you know? So essentially the way that this works is I have these rotation speed controllers set to different speeds, and then they're all powered by this encased chain drive connected to this create motor. And basically what I have here is this typewriter. It links, so the numbers are linked up to certain gears. So for example, first gear would push this piston forward, and then second gear would it would push this piston forward, engaging this large cogwheel with the rotation speed controller, which then connects it to this cog right here and drives its output all the way over there. And something that maybe there is a way to not have it do this, but you kind of have to from what I've tested. So you push 3 and that puts it in, let's say, third gear, right? As you can see, this one is pushed forward and now it's engaged with these. Now you can't push another one without pushing 0 first, because 0 pushes in the back wall of pistons, which basically resets everything. So I can push like 9, everything's moving really fast, and then I push 0, and then it's, I guess you could say that's like a neutral. And don't worry about that. That's a different contraption. The stuff that you see spinning, that's confused me a few times, but don't worry about it. And basically, what I think is kind of nice about this is this little thing right here is I've included a half speed and a double speed. So basically, if we go to let's say third gear, I've done third gear so much. So third gear, that's 128 RPM. So really, it's 64 RPM, and then it gets multiplied by 2 because it's a small gear ratio, so we get to 128 RPM. However, if you push up, it lowers it to 64 RPM, and then if I push up again, it resets it to 128, and then if I push down, it goes to 256, and if I push down again, it goes to 128. And basically, the way that this works is I have a clutch and a directional gear shift, and the reason I have both of these is I noticed that an unpowered directional gear shift acts like a powered clutch, basically, if that makes sense. And by having these two here, we can make it so that the power, so we go from this gear here when it travels down these cogs, and then this cog goes into a clutch, and then this cog goes into a directional gear shift, or sorry, this cog goes into a clutch, and then this large cog goes into a directional gear shift. So we know that this cog is spinning at 128, and then this cog is spinning at 64 because of gear ratios. So the way that I have this set up is when you activate this, it powers the directional gear shift and unpowers the clutch, or sorry, it powers the directional gear shift and powers the clutch. So what ends up happening is it gets the input from this large cogwheel instead of this small cogwheel, meaning we're going to have half the RPM. And then the way this works is pretty similar, except I have an adjustable chain gear shift here. I think that's what they're called. I might be wrong. Yeah, an adjustable chain gear shift, which basically, when you power it with redstone, it means that all the other encased chain drives that go after it will have double RPM. So because we're running at 128 RPM, and then you push down and it increases simply because of the fact that we have an encased chain drive here. And while you could just increase the gear, I think that's kind of nice because, you know, I want all the customability. I want all those options, and basically, and something that I just figured out is you can go beyond 256 RPM in the configure menu, which I think is pretty nice because there'd be a lot of times where I'd be making contraptions and they would just break because it'd go past 256. So, you know, it's pretty nice not to worry about that. So if I push 9 here, we can see that it's going at 512 RPM, and then if I push down, it goes at 1024 RPM, which, you know, I just feel like that was interesting. So the way that I feel like you would have this is you would have some of these binded to steering, like A and D, and then you have like third. Oh, I think I just broke it. Yeah, I totally just broke it. But you could have like a sixth gear, or like, you know, you can change your gears, you can change your steering. Just try not to engage 2 gears at once, because then you will low-key break the entire machine, and if you have this like down in the bottom of a ship, that'd be horrible to fix. So just try not to break it, I guess. That's about it. Like and subscribe, I guess. Leave a comment.